Their Alumni Reflections interview. Today we have Clint Cure, class of 2007. What are some memories or experiences that stand out to you from your Cortland experience?
I started out at a different school and transferred into Cortland, so having
Right.
a little bit of a perspective from another campus going into Cortland, I think the campus there is beautiful, and it really has only gotten better in the years since. Fortunate enough to go back every once in a while and either talk in front of classes or just visit for different events. But the campus is beautiful. As far as the sport management program, the faculty has always kind of stood out to me. Everybody there has, real world experience. It's not just they're not teaching out of a book; they're teaching out of having done it in the past. So that also stood out to me. And really the opportunities that come out of that. I had an opportunity to participate in the study abroad program, spending a semester in Germany, which was, to me, that was the best semester of my life because basically lived in Germany for almost a year at that point. After school, I was lucky enough to be able to stay and do some things. So, I would say probably the combination of those are probably what makes it most special to me.
The professors, they're amazing. I mean, they, like you said, they don't just teach out of a book. They have hands-on experience, and you can clearly see that when you go to the classroom. So,
and I think the alumni, at least when I was there, and I'm sure it's still probably better now, but the alumni do a really nice job of coming back, and now I guess more in this day and age you can video in. Makes it a little bit more convenient, but there was a couple people that came back and participated in some of our practicum classes and lecture classes where we could actually sit there and have conversation. So that really stood out to me also because it meant that they cared enough to come back and do those things.
I agree. Same experiences here. What are some lessons that you carry with you today from Cortland that you can apply to your current position with the Syracuse Mets?
I was never really a good time management person. I was always kind of a procrastinator and waited till the last minute to do stuff. So, that's probably the biggest thing that's gotten me at least aligned into what I do now.
Right.
Scheduling stuff out and making sure things are ready to rock. But, I think that comes with age as well, but, something's got to trigger it. And for me, that's probably the most important thing.
Gotcha. So having a leadership role throughout your career, what are some qualities for an aspiring manager?
The biggest thing for me is communication, and that starts at the top and obviously filters its way all the way down. But you're only going to be as good as your communication skills, and you're only going to be as good as how much you communicate with your staff, because you could be as prepared for anything, but if you haven't communicated that to everybody else, and you're starting out with a failure, because nobody's going to have an idea of what's going on. So for me, it's communication. It's leading by example. When I interned at NASCAR in Daytona, we had a track president named Robin Bragg at Daytona who, he obviously made way more money than my unpaid internship. And, here I am before TV time, they're getting ready to go live for the Daytona 500, and we're out in the football field, they call it, from the pit road area to the start finish line. And we're picking up trash on our hands and knees, because they have the pre-parties and stuff there.
Yep.
And, all of us interns are out there stuffing trash in a garbage bag. And I look over, and Robin Bragg, the track president, is on his hands and knees picking up trash with a garbage bag in a suit that probably cost more than my car did at the time. And, that always stood out to me, because here's the track president, the biggest name at that facility.
Right.
And I look at him and I said, Robin, give me that. I'll take care of it. And he looks at me and he goes, no, we got a show to put on, and we're on a time crunch. And he goes, we'll never be big enough to do this kind of work. And that always kind of stood out to me. So I always try to make sure if I ask somebody to do something, it's never going to be because I haven't done it or I couldn't,
Right.
you know. And I think that goes miles with, especially with young people coming out of, fresh out of college, to be able to see that in somebody.
I agree. I think definitely from somebody being, above you, a president in that case, I think you can just really respect that person a lot more. And, after something like that, those different situations, you can really respect them.
I mean,
Um,
he could have easily just taken a step back and just,
exactly.
you know, delegated it down, but he knew what needed to be done in the amount of time that we had. And I mean, you don't get a whole lot of time between when they clear the ball field there and then when TV's ready to go, live with the race. So
Hmm.
it's important.
Definitely. Um, can you speak on some of your responsibilities and daily operations as the assistant GM at Syracuse?
Yeah, sure. So my job's a little bit more unique than it's just a generic assistant GM role.
Right.
From it's kind of multifaceted. So I handle a lot of the sales at the stadium, overseeing the sales staff and then selling myself. And on the other end of the spectrum, we're doing a lot of facility maintenance, facility operations, also handling the baseball operations side. So managing everything that goes on in the clubhouse, whether it be something as small as making sure the mail that comes in is checked off properly because there's a procedure you have to follow per Major League and Minor League Baseball for incoming packages and stuff. Something as small as that to making sure that if we have rain coming in, we're working with the grounds crew to make sure we either pull a tarp in time or we make a decision on whether or not having to pull it. And then also dealing with a lot of the player movements. So when guys get sent up or called down, um, getting their transportation aligned, whether it's flights or cars or whatever may be it, hotels, accommodations, that kind of stuff. So your phone's always on, your phone's always ringing. It's always something that needs to be done, which is fun. That's what makes it fun. But 2 o'clock in the morning when you finally get your head on a pillow and you get a phone call and Todd Frazier's getting sent down for a rehab assignment,
Yeah.
it can be a little taxing, but it's fun.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like a very long day. What usually, I mean, at least what, 10, 12-hour day, or it differs?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends.
Yeah.
It's longer, um, typically on the weekends, just because
Right.
there's just a lot more going on. A Tuesday at the stadium's a lot slower than a Saturday, but typically we're in sometime between 8 and 9, and it's really on you as an employee to make that decision and say, okay, I know what I need to get done. I need to go in at this time in order to get it done. So we leave that kind of flexible to them, knowing that there's a time that everybody does have to be in. Uh, and then really throughout the day, you're doing stuff, putting out fires, answering questions, answering phones, making phone calls, setting up the facility, to be presentable because, every day should be opening day. Every day
Right.
should be perfect. So if it's dirty, you're doing some more cleanup, but you have to look at it from the perspective of, it's somebody's first time there every single day.
Exactly.
We have to make that first time impression count. So after, the game is actually the easy part. We just kind of stand back at that point and, do what we have to do. But it's getting to that point that that's the
Right.
day. That's the tough part. But after the game's done, depending on weather, we might put the tarp on the field overnight. We may not. We may need to clean up firework debris in the outfield. Depending on what's going on. Post game concerts or sponsor related stuff, and then
Hmm.
we shut it down sometime around midnight or so on a normal game night, and then
Wow.
back home and get a couple hours of shut eye, and you're right back there.
Back at
Yeah, we drink a lot of coffee.
it. um, Can you speak on the importance of the relationship with your employees, the people that work for you, the people that work under you, work with you every day, the importance of that relationship and how that translates to every day, your daily operations?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be uh, that relationship has to be there and it has to be strong.
Right.
I mean, if you really think about it, I spend more time with my staff than I do with my wife and kids during the season. So, um, but you have to know when you have to unplug. So if you're just having a day, or somebody's having a day, they
Right.
need to know that they can push away from the table and take a break and and clear their head, because if everybody's not moving in the same direction, the bus isn't going to get there at the end of the
Right.
day. So, we have a great staff. I've had a ton of great staffs over this would be my 12th year in professional baseball. So over those 12 years, I've had some really good staffs as a whole, and some solid individual employees that have gone on to do really great things too. So, um, yeah, the staff's usually the fun part, the funnest part. You get a day off here and there, and you go hit the golf course, or you go hit a happy hour, or take BP or something like that, just to blow off some steam. That's when the
Gotcha.
fun starts.
You guys, sounds like you guys are just a big family.
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a girl that's worked for me for years. She interned for me back in Daytona,
Uh-huh.
and then she's now with the Mets also. She works at our Port St. Lucie facility, and my kids call her Aunt Casey. She's been around so much that my kids think she's part of
Right.
the family, and she is. I mean, that's Aunt Casey. She travels with us. She does everything. So
That's awesome. Yeah, you were with the Daytona Tortugas, which is a single A affiliate for the Cincinnati Reds, correct?
yeah, yeah. Before that, they were the Class A Cubs affiliate.
Okay.
So I started out with the Daytona Cubs after the kind of the economy tanked out with NASCAR there for
Yep.
a couple of years. So I moved. That's how I got into baseball originally, and then with that, just kind of you keep to it, and you get a couple of promotions here and there, and you work your tail off and show somebody what you can do, and
Yeah.
somehow or another they keep promoting you. So and then when the Mets called, it's there's two different ways, in baseball at least. There's the affiliated teams, which are um, well, they're all affiliated essentially, but um, you have teams that are owned by the big league clubs,
Right.
and then you have the teams that are owned by private entities. And having worked for both of them, having a pretty strong appreciation for both sides. Um, but when a team calls that's major league owned, um, it's kind of hard to turn that away. And I was
Yeah.
fortunate, I really stepped in a pile, a good luck pile, when I got hired, because it was in the 2015 season, and the Mets went to the World Series in 2015. So I was fortunate enough to take my dad to World Series games at Citi Field, and
Wow.
have all that stuff that you know it would have never happened that way if the Cubs were growing up at that point. They were getting good. They were Javi Baez and Chris
Yep.
Bryant and Schwarber were all on our team down there in Daytona. Um,
Wow.
but if they go to the World Series, I don't know that we would have got that call.
Right.
So to see the Mets, we started out with Tim Tebow as our left fielder, and Pete Alonso as our first baseman, and
Yep.
Rosario at short. Tomas Nido was our catcher. So all those guys now are in the big league roles. Well, Tebow's still at AAA, but
Right.
um, it's kind of cool to see all those guys grow up. But
Yeah, that's neat.
it's one of the nice perks of working for an owned club, I guess.
Now, you must have some type of, pass by relationship or some type of connection with the players daily as GM, right? Or no?
Yeah, we see each other. I mean, everybody sees each other daily. It's a small
Right.
facility. There's uh, when they first break camp and they come to us, we make a point to go in and introduce ourselves, and kind of give them the whole, hey, we have an open door policy here kind of mentality.
Right.
And a lot of the guys, they'll take you up on stuff, and we'll hook them up with our car dealership partners, if they want to buy something or if they want a rental or, if they have family coming into town and they want a hotel room for somebody or, just something as small as, hey, where's your favorite Italian restaurant in town? My girlfriend's coming into town, that kind of stuff. But,
Gotcha.
and we do a lot with that side, but also like the community side. We ask a lot of our guys to participate in community events and volunteer and do this stuff. And the Mets do a really good job. Donovan Mitchell and his staff in New York really push the guys into the community aspect. And whether it's, food pantry stuff or Meals on Wheels or youth sports,
It's awesome.
they try to make sure that the guys are doing their share. So, and not 99% of the guys are great about it. Every once in a while you get somebody who's would rather not, but I don't know that I've ever really had anybody distinctly say, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
But you certainly have some guys that are more apt to volunteer.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, that's good. What's some advice that you can give myself and other students that are eager to break into the industry today?
Be involved. Just be involved in stuff. And I did 3 unpaid internships, and unpaid internships are like a thing of the past now. Everybody expects to be paid for their time, and that's not how it was. And I want to say back in the day, like I'm an old man, but back in the day, you did unpaid internships because the best internships and the ones that were more apt to lead to career moves were typically unpaid.
Mhm.
I did 2 separate internships with NASCAR and International Speedway Corporation. I did some stuff over in Germany during my study abroad program in
Right.
association with the university there and FIFA. We did some economic analysis type stuff with the fans that were coming in the games and stuff. So, but from a resume standpoint, when I look at somebody's resume, I don't, not that the education doesn't matter. I'm not trying to say that education doesn't matter, because, obviously it does, but
Right.
I want to see somebody who's busy, whether they're, it could be something as small as working a part-time job, while they're going to school, just somebody who's able to manage their time and able to manage their social life and who's involved in doing things and meeting people and networking, because that's the valuable piece.
Right. That busybody that's gonna translate to the sport industry, being a business and entertainment industry at the same time, so you
Yeah.
work well with the team.
Yeah. Be able to, teamwork's a huge thing, but being able to manage yourself.
Hmm.
It's not uncommon for when you're in the sports world. I mean, you're always working, and even on your days off, you're always working, because you're always
Right.
talking about the team. You're always talking to somebody who's a potential sale. You're always talking to somebody who, has never been to the stadium before. So you're always turned on. The switch is always on.
Well, Clint, I appreciate you taking the time today and speaking with me and giving me some advice, some other students some advice.
I think it's important that everybody stays in touch, and I know for me, looking from when I was a student, being able to reach out to other alumni when I was still in school for words of encouragement or advice or anything.
Exactly.
And I feel like that they do a really good job of fostering that kind of a relationship.
Thank you again, Clint, for taking the time, and I hope we can stay connected.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, Clint. Thanks again. I appreciate
Thanks, man.
it. Have a great day, okay?
You too.
Thanks.